Hello, everyone, and welcome to another TYCOP mentor interview. Today, we are joined by Aaryn Zoccole, and Aaryn is actually completing her first year of the mechanical engineering program at the University of Toronto. We are so happy to be touching base with Aaryn again because she was actually one of the recipients of our 2020 Student Scholarship Awards. I believe you won the Robert Olivier Memorial Award, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember? Perfect. Yeah. So we're really excited to touch base with Aaryn again. And this time she is coming to us as one of our mentors for the TYCOP mentorship program. In case you don't know what that is, it's a First Nations youth technical career outreach program. We help to get news and spread the word out there about all of the amazing careers that exist in the technical fields, such as environment, engineering, water and wastewater, operations and maintenance, asset management, and so many others. So we are super excited today to have Aaryn. I guess I wanted to just open up the floor and kind of ask you a little bit about how you got into engineering, because it's, not always something that people automatically think of right away when they're thinking of future careers.
Yeah. But actually, like the summer before engineering, I was talking to this lady named Kyan, and she was like, "Oh, are you gonna be an engineer?" I'm like, "What? No." And it was like the summer before, like literally I didn't know, like a year later, I'd be like filling out scholarships to go to U of T for mechanical engineering. But ultimately what like made me want to do engineering was first robotics. I have a little pin. And first robotics is basically for high school students. I did first robotics competition in the Ontario district with my team, 56 FNSTEM 5672, and they're located in Wikwemkong, Ontario. We just in the 2019 when I was in the 11th grade, we went to the World Championship for the first time. I didn't expect to be an engineer. I just like building things. It's like big Lego, if that makes sense. And yeah.
That's awesome. So that robotics team kind of got you into like building things, and then that's kind of how you ended up in mechanical engineering. So can you explain to us a little bit about what mechanical engineering is? Is it exactly like what you said, like building things, building buildings, that kind of stuff? Or what I guess is mechanical engineering more specifically?
So there's like different streams for mechanical engineering. You could go into like biomedical stuff, where you do like where you're making like machines for the medical field. I think it's like defibrillators. But for me, I really want to work on like spaceships or like just like jets. I think that would be really cool to see like a spaceship go into outer space, and but yeah, I help build it.
That would be so amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, that's very cool. So I know you just kind of finished, or you're still wrapping up your first year at U of T in the midst of a pandemic. Can you let us know how your first year was? What kind of classes did you have, and what was it like, going to your first year of university? I'm assuming remotely the whole time.
Yeah. Well, I was fortunate enough to be in residence. I wanted to be in residence so I could make friends and like help people help me with my homework, because nobody in my family really knows how to do math. They're all teachers, but the more like grade school teachers. Yeah. But for me, my first year, it was kind of bad. I'll be really honest. The course load was really hard, and I had to drop a couple courses because I didn't really understand the material. And I think that it's because, like, for me, I went to a First Nations high school, and this is like an issue with First Nations communities. Like for me, I probably would have been more prepared for university if I went to like a quote unquote white school or city school. But if you do go to high school, you experience things like racism. And for me personally, kids were kind of mean, and it wasn't the best experience. But I had more friendship in a First Nation school. But sadly, the education isn't up to standard with like a regular high school in Ontario, which is kind of sad. And I think that like for First Nations, we should put resources into like having a better education for First Nations high school. There's like the trades aspects, like having more trades in high school and not making just purely academic based. And there are kids that are like myself, academic, and maybe make it more, I guess, bearable for First Nation students to be in the white schools or city schools. Yeah.
Yeah, high school was a tough time for me too. It's been over a decade and a half since I've been in high school, but it's, I didn't have the greatest experience, but once I did get to university, I loved it. So, I think if you were also having the classes in person, it probably would have been a lot better. But even if you have to, alter your course load, I think that's totally fine. I just want to share with people that there's no, perfect way of doing things when it comes to your own education path or your own journey. So if you need an extra year or year and a half or 2 years, it doesn't matter. In the end, you're still going to have that degree or that diploma or whatever it is in your hand. And the time's going to pass anyways. So, you might as well do what you need to do to kind of balance it, because that can be a huge challenge, right? Is kind of balancing your workload, your personal life, and then also the craziness that has been COVID-19 has just been insane. So I definitely I admire you for taking that step and kind of saying, I need to scale it back a little bit, because that's good for your mental health, right? We have to make sure that we're taking care of our minds as well as while we're learning, right? So that's good. I'm glad you were able to kind of see that and not overwhelm yourself too much. But so what would your advice be to, First Nations youth who's potentially considering their future career path? How did you come to the decision to go to engineering? What would you say helped you make that decision?
For me, it was, I picked engineering because I wanted to change the world. I thought it'd be really cool to build spaceships and do something that interests me and what makes me happy. And I think as long as in the end you're happy at the end of the day, you'll be okay. And it's okay if you don't do too good the first time around. What matters if you get up every day and try again.
Definitely. I know you said, I think earlier you mentioned something about a person who kind of was talking to you about the engineering program and that you didn't know you were going to even do that a year later, that you'd be applying for scholarships to go into that program. So I just wanted to ask you, since we do have this new mentorship aspect of our career outreach project, how have mentors helped you throughout your life, or have they, have you had a mentor who's kind of been a role model for you, somebody you've been able to ask questions to and help you kind of learn what you want to do?
Yeah, I think that mentor for me has been Chris Maurer, from my lead mentor and teacher for robotics, for my robotics team. Like, he's such an overall nice person. Like, if everybody in the world was like Chris Maurer, there would be no need for heaven, because we'll already be there. And yeah, and he's such a really, really nice guy, and for no reason. And that's the best kind of person to be. And for me, hopefully, I could be as great as him someday.
That's perfect. Yeah. Because I wanted to ask you too, as a mentor now, possibly for other First Nations youth, what kind of, information, or how are you hoping to help other First Nations youth in their education journey?
Well, I hope, for me, if I was a mentee, I would want somebody who looked like me, because that would make me think it's possible to be an engineer. Because when I was looking at my robotics team, they're an all First Nations robotics team, and before I knew they existed, I thought so poorly about First Nations people. I'm like, oh yeah, First Nations people are they're just drunks, or they're dumb, or they're dirty, you could say. But seeing this robotics team impacting me to think differently. I'm like, wow, I didn't know that that First Nations could do great things, or build robots, or be smart, or even go to post-secondary. And I thought, it's just gonna be me. But I hope that my potential mentees could see me and be like, hey, if she can do it, I can do it too.
On that note too, I guess just a quick follow-up on that is, have you seen other people like you in your program or in your faculty, any teachers who are Indigenous or First Nations?
Sadly, I can only count on one hand the amount of Indigenous people I've seen. I've seen this girl, Alana. She's from the Yukon, I think. And it was really nice seeing her, because she's Inuit. And it's nice to see another First Nations person, and also this boy named Mitchell. He's in Hamilton. He's also a Ojibwe. And it's so nice to see other First Nations youth that look like you.
So they're in your program with you, kind of in your classes and stuff?
I think they're in different types of engineering, I think.
Okay, nice. No, that's great. I was the first, I think, Indigenous person in my master's program, because it was fairly new. I think it was only 5 years old at the time when I joined it. But there was nobody else in my cohort that was First Nations. So it was a little challenging, because a lot of questions fell on my shoulders when it came up, when an Indigenous issue came up or something, everyone in the room would look at me. It's so scary, right? You're it's you're put in the hot seat. So hopefully hopefully it doesn't happen to you, because I know how awkward it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think kind of just to wrap up today, I guess I was going to ask you, if you have any other advice that you'd want to give to any youth who are interested in engineering, what would you say?
Well, I would say, I'm gonna quote Dory from Finding Nemo. Just keep swimming. uh, like if you do bad, like it's okay. It's okay to like drop a couple courses if they're a little bit too hard. Because I definitely did. Yeah. And First Nations, like if you went to a First Nations high school, um, you're not really prepared to go to university. Well, you're not as prepared as an average um, Ontarian high school student. And sadly, um, we could work, like the First Nations community could work, or the Indigenous community could work to getting better education for our youth. And it's something that we should invest in. But as long at the end of the day, well, at the beginning of the day, you just get dressed and start your day, and maybe it won't be the best day, maybe it'll be a good day, but as long as every day you just keep getting dressed and say bring it on, then you'll be okay.
Right. It's all about that mentality too, right? You got to have that daily, I guess, motivation to get out there and do it. But it's hard. Even, like you said, sometimes you just have to go through it, and, that's going to be what gets you to the end. You're going to make it through, just keep going every day. Just keep swimming. So
just keep swimming.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Aaryn. We look forward to having you as one of our mentors for our First Nations youth. And if anyone wants to, talk to Aaryn a little bit more, ask Aaryn some questions about engineering, mechanical engineering, what's it like at U of T, anything like that, we can definitely connect you with her. So please feel free to reach out. So thanks again, Aaryn, and we'll talk to you soon.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.